So this video is kind of designed to talk to people who are Wyoming residents such as myself. Now I live in Cheyenne, and one of the big things here in Cheyenne, it's kind of a small town and there isn't really this great selection of vehicles out there when you're looking for something specific, such as in my case. One thing I will tell you straight off the bat is be prepared to spend more money than what you do at the dealership. And what I mean by that, the dealership that I bought my pickup from was way deep in Colorado. And one of the things they didn't understand is they continuously insisted that my sales tax rate's only 4%. Well, if you know in Wyoming, 2% goes to the county. Yeah, and they didn't believe me when I told them, no, it's 6%, and they didn't want to build it into the loan. So be prepared, first off, in order to get your plates, you're going to have to pay more money. One thing, I live in Cheyenne, so Laramie County. I live very close to the tag office here in town. So this was a little bit easier for me. For some of you, especially here in Wyoming, we're kind of all spread out. If you're way out, this is a 3-4 hour process I'm about to go over. So it starts off when you buy the vehicle, okay? Make sure that they take out or build into your loan the proper sales tax amount at 6% and send that up. That's the big thing. The reason I kind of made this video is because nowhere really discusses how they do this until you get in the dealership, and sometimes even they don't really know how to handle an out-of-state resident, a Wyoming resident, buying a vehicle. Now, I went way down into Colorado. I wasn't dealing with some guy that was just on the other side of the state line who's done this 1,000 times. We drove to Pueblo and to buy this vehicle. So we bought it from a dealership in Pueblo, and they just didn't deal with Wyoming residents that much. They were quite shocked that we had driven that far to buy one of their vehicles. And well, when you're looking for something specific and they're the closest ones that have it, that's where you go. So when you're buying the vehicle, know your county sales tax rate. Okay, so in Laramie County here it's 6%. Make sure they charge you that and build that into the loan or build that into your cost that you're paying there at the dealership. It makes things a lot easier because when you're going to the tag office later and they're hitting you up for that extra 2%, it gets like, damn, I wasn't expecting to come in here and spend $800, which is what happened in my case. It was like $875, around there. So have them do that. Now, what the dealership will do as far as tax and title, they will take everything and put it in a neat little envelope and they will mail it to your county clerk. Here in Wyoming, our county clerks do our titles and our county treasurer does our registration and plates and all that garbage. So it's this really convoluted system of there's basically 3 people who are involved in this. And those 3 people, okay, all don't really talk to each other. I mean, they kind of do, but they don't. So it's a real sort of pain in the butt. One thing I didn't do is I didn't get my VIN inspection ahead of time. Now, if you're buying a vehicle in Colorado, you can assume, a used vehicle, mind you, you can assume that it will come with a Colorado title. If you live in Wyoming, specifically in Laramie County, I can't speak for every county, I don't pretend to be an expert, I'm just talking from my own experience. If it's an out-of-state title, they're going to require a VIN inspection. Go do that first, it'll save you a lot of time. Because I waited in line for almost an hour at the clerk's office to be told, oh yeah, you got to go get a VIN inspection. Bye-bye. And so then I had to go around the corner to the sheriff's office and get that VIN inspection done, then come back and get back in line at the little kiosk and sit around on my butt for another 30-45 minutes until I had that piece of paper to show them that I had the VIN inspection done. So just get it done ahead of time. You can do this kind of like as a multi-day process. Go take it, get a VIN inspection, bring your temporary tag. They should give you a Colorado temporary tag, and they should give you a piece of paper to keep in a glove box. Take that and your ID, go into the sheriff's department, get that VIN inspection done. That'll save you so much time. Because then you only have to wait in line at the clerk's office once. That's much preferable to me. I mean, I spent 3 hours down there because I didn't know that. So when you go to the clerk's office, they should have mailed everything to your county clerk ahead of time. So they should have all that stuff in the system. I was a little impatient. The thing was, I was getting ready to go out of town. I'm actually recording this before I go out of town. And I was not really in the mood to drive all the way 4 or 5 states away with this vehicle with a ratty, worn out, rained on, it rained a lot here this year, Colorado tag. And so I was like, I really would like to have metal plates. And I was kind of hoping they just had my stuff down there, and they thankfully did. Supposedly, they're supposed to send you a letter in the mail that says, hey, come in and do this. So you might want to wait for that letter. You might want to call ahead to your county clerk's office and be like, hey, do you have my paperwork for my vehicle? Give them your name and they'll check. I'd assume. If you can ever get a hold of somebody down there, good luck. So you go to the clerk's office. They should have everything there. Your clerk's office will then take all that stuff and the VIN inspection. Then they're going to charge you like $45 in my case. Now, we finance the vehicle. If you buy the vehicle outright, it'll be a little bit different, and I'll explain that here in a second. But if you're financing it, the title, they will print out a title, but it's going to go off to your finance company. It gets mailed to them until you pay it off. Like in my case, I didn't get the title for it. But they print it off right there. They're going to give you this receipt copy thing that says stuff on it. Then they're going to tell you, here in Laramie County, to go across the hall. If you know anything about registering a vehicle in Laramie County, the go across the hall thing's pretty standard. Not until you pay them $45. Pretty standard. You go across the hall. Now here's what to expect when you get over to the treasurer's office across the street. They're going to essentially rape you, for lack of a better term. And I'll probably get me kicked off of YouTube for saying that, but I don't do these videos to make money. It was expensive. And being that they didn't charge me the full 6%, like I begged them, it was really bad. So have your money ready. Like, and you can go on the treasurer's website and you can calculate how much your fees are based on the MSRP of your car. It's this really convoluted formula that they use. It's like factory cost times 40. If it's new, it's like 60%, and it's a sliding scale, 50, 40, 30, and then it plateaus. So know how old your vehicle is. But there's a calculator online that makes it really easy. If you know the MSRP roughly of what your vehicle costs brand new, you can kind of get a rough estimate going in. And then expect more. So you get up to the window. They should hopefully have a check from the dealership for the sales tax that they did charge you at the dealership already at the treasurer's office. You hope. In my case, they did. And it wasn't enough, which we've discussed. So that was frustrating. But again, got it done. Paid them a bunch of money. They took the check from the sales tax, gave me my license plates, and I was on the way. It was that simple. But one of the biggest things I can emphasize to you is get the VIN inspection done first. Because if you wait in line just to find out that you need a VIN inspection, it's really frustrating to go do that at the sheriff's office or police department or highway patrol or wherever you end up going. All 3 of those agencies here in Wyoming can do them. Your local police department. If you live in a small town, you might have to call in and have a deputy or somebody come out and sign this piece of paper saying your car is not stolen. Even though you know it's not because you bought it from a Colorado dealer, they still require it because it's an out-of-state title. Some caveats I can tell you. If you bought your vehicle outright, you will get the title. You'll have to go back across the hall after you pay the treasurer a bunch of money, and then you can pick up your title for your vehicle, and it's yours, and you're done. That's if you paid outright to the dealership. Some dealerships may just give you the title if you buy it outright. I'm not sure. I've never done it before. I'm just speaking to my experience with financing a vehicle, how it worked. Talk to your dealership ahead of time. The reason I made this video is just because there's no information out there. And I asked on Facebook and some other places, and they were like, hey, I was like, hey, what is the process with this? And nobody really wanted to give me a straight answer. I got a pretty good answer, a pretty close answer. And I asked before I even went to go down to Colorado to buy a vehicle, because I just like, if this is going to be a huge hassle, I don't want to deal with it. It's going to be 3 hours out of your day. You might have to take a day off work, especially if you're a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday kind of guy, because that's typically when our offices are open. Go early in the morning. Even though we live in a town of 60,000 in Wyoming with a pretty separated system, it's still just, there's always a line. It's worse at the title office, but the treasurer's not so bad. They're pretty fully staffed right now, so it just kind of breeze through there. One thing I will also tell you, if you trade in a Wyoming titled vehicle or Wyoming registered vehicle to buy your new one, and this is something they taught me at the clerk's office, keep your license plates off of your vehicle. It can save you some serious money. And what I'm trying to say is Wyoming will essentially refund that. They call it a credit. It's a refund. They'll refund whatever remaining portion of your vehicle registration was left at the date of your sale. So they register them every, it's a yearly registration. If you've got 3 months left, they'll give you 3 months prorated back towards the vehicle, your new vehicle that you bought in. But you have to bring them the license plates, at least in Laramie County. So bring those license plates with you. That will save you a lot of time and also save you some money. In my case, it's about $150. So factor that in. You'll have to surrender the old plates. So if you trade a vehicle, Wyoming registered vehicle in Colorado, tell that dealership, I want my license plates back. They're going to re-register it anyway. They don't need them. They're going to throw them in a recycling bin. Keep them. It'll make your life so much easier, and it'll save you some money. So bring them in with you when you go to the treasurer's office. Hand them to them. See how much money you can get back towards your new vehicle registration. Trust me, it's already expensive enough, right? So that's a big tip, and that's something that it's not on their website. It's nobody talks about it. It's not listed. It's one of those things like you have to go wait in line to get answers to these questions. So that's why I kind of made this video. It's my first video I ever going to put on YouTube that's public, and I'm kind of apprehensive about it, but the reason I'm doing this is just to tell you an answer to a question that I had and kind of to walk through the experience I had with that, because it's something that if you live in Cheyenne, there's not really a lot of vehicles here. I mean, there's some dealerships here and it's like, okay, yeah, they got kind of, farm trucks and this and that, but if you want something like what I did, it was really specific. Really they didn't make billions of them like a white F-150. Well, you're going to have to shop around. You might have to go out of state. So this is what this video is here to do. If you have any questions, I'll leave the comments open as long as they stay somewhat civil. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll try to answer them based on my experience, but your best bet is always call your clerk, call the treasurer, and then definitely talk to the dealership. Make sure they charge you the full sales tax amount. It'll just save you a headache. You're not going to be able to, at least in my experience, my dealership didn't charge me any registration fees ahead of time, which would have been nice for them to do, but they didn't. So please kind of keep that in mind, that you're going to have to pay up, especially on a new vehicle. You're going to have to pay up. One thing a little footnote I'll add at the end. If you do buy a new vehicle in Colorado, it's going to come with something called an MSO, or Manufacturer Statement of Origin, or an MCO, Manufacturer Certificate of Origin. They're kind of the same thing, I guess. I don't think you need to get a VIN inspection for those because they're essentially a brand new car. So use your best judgment. Maybe call the clerk's office ahead of time. Like, hey, do I need a VIN inspection for this? Definitely check. I've never bought a new vehicle ever in my life, so I don't know, but I kind of know that much just from talking to some people, that vehicles don't really come with titles. They come with that MCO or MSO thing. That essentially is the title for the vehicle until it's registered for the first time. So if you're buying a new vehicle in Colorado, definitely check on that ahead of time. See, hey, do I need to get a VIN inspection done before I do this? Because I didn't know that. You'd think moving to Wyoming, I would have known that I had to have done that, but I didn't, and I just went down there and waited in line. So save yourself some time, get the VIN inspection done. You don't need any paperwork, especially here in Laramie County. If you go to the sheriff's office, they'll give you a piece of paper that has everything there. They don't charge you anything at the sheriff's office to do it, so get it done at a time. But that's pretty much it. I'm going to wrap this up. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you for watching.